Hi everyone, I'm Casey Martin from Wine Country Woodworks and Wine Country Mica, and this is going to be part 2 of this shop build out of me putting everything where it needs to go, getting everything organized and set up. The plan for this video is to get this whole section right here all situated and cleaned up. So let me walk you guys through what the couple of things I've done since the last video, and then we'll get started. Okay, so probably the biggest, most notable thing is over here I built this bench to continue the stabilizing area. I know when we were discussing this area in the last video, I wasn't sure if I wanted to put my desk here with my shop computer or what, but I realized pretty quickly that I just needed more space for the stabilizing area. I mean, there's still some things and boxes that I need to take out, but basically this whole bench, it was really clear it was gonna get completely covered by the vacuum chambers. And I needed just more area for the toaster ovens and just, workspace, right? For when I'm working on taking like the wood out of the ovens or out of the chambers, etc. So probably over there is going to be that little space. I'll probably push the ovens down a little bit more. The only thing was the outlet that I put in here, I specifically measured for my desk. So it is a little in the way, but it's not a problem. Like if I ever need to use the bottom outlet, I'll just pull the table away. But I mean, I have 4 right here, so shouldn't be a problem. Now the other thing I did was sink down these pressure pots, use my jigsaw and cut out the holes. What I need to still do is put the little blocks of wood on each side of at least 2 opposite wing nuts so that they can get locked in place and won't shift around when I'm cranking down on them to tighten or untighten. So that still needs to be done. The other thing I did was hang my monitor as well as my TV. Not exactly sure yet how I want to handle the cords, but probably just like some zip ties and maybe some hooks. We'll see. Probably won't need to do too much, but the plan I came to was that this is my shop computer right here, and this on its side needed to clean out all of the dust from the jigsaw first. But that on its side will actually fit underneath the pressure pot. I can either do that, or I could raise up this shelf and have some more area down here and put it down there too if I need to. But point is, there's actually a door on the back of that cabinet that I'm not using, and so the cords can just go through there really easily up to the outlet and then the monitor. The only thing I need to figure out is how I want to position my keyboard and everything. One of the ideas I was having was I could just put like my keyboard in there and just take it out when I need to use it. But then I don't really have the best spot for it when I'm typing, like typing over here and looking over there. So I don't know, maybe this isn't the final home for the monitor, but I mean, the typing that I do is very, very minimal. It's more of just going to a website, looking things up or putting on a show or something. So yeah, I already mentioned the TV over there, and the main plan for today is to clean up all of this junk here. So, that table needs to go. This little wine barrel table I made years ago needs to go as well. And then all of the stuff that's in boxes left over from the electrical and anything that's still, needs to be unpacked can be unpacked. So once this space is clear, my next course of action is either to build the outfeed table for the table saw or set up the dust collector motor on the wall and get that going. I think it would make most sense to do the dust collector first, because that's going to, get a lot of these bigger items in their final home so that I can, kind of go from there. But anyway, enough talking. Let's start. Okay, so I kind of took a pause from moving everything out of this area because I realized pretty quickly, like, all three of these boxes, these are filled with hoses. And my plan is to do PVC ducting everywhere, and then just a little bit of flex hose, maybe, you know, from like around here to connect to a tool, for instance. So I realized at this point, like, I'm mostly just taking things and just moving them out of the way, and not really putting them in a permanent home. So I think what I should probably do is switch over to hanging the dust collector motor, which I'll walk you guys through what I'm going to be doing for that. And then I'll have a permanent home for this stuff. I can figure out what I need to keep for this stuff, and then, you know, kind of put that at least out of the way for now. So when my dad and I hung the motor at my interim shop in his basement, we made this little bracket to hang it. This corner was cut to get around some window trim, but, you know, it's fine to keep it. So I'll lift the motor up and I'll place it on here, but basically we have all of the holes that the bolts need to go through for the actual motor. And then we have pre-drilled holes for studs that are 16 inches on center, which thankfully, you know, this is built that way as well. So one of the things that we did that I definitely do not think was necessary and made putting this up there an absolute bear, and especially getting off, because that whole idea of doing this was so that when we moved my shop, all we had to do, that would always stay on here, and all we had to do was take out these two bolts and those two. What we did was we also put two right here, which is right under the motor. So I had to take the motor completely off before I could take this off because I couldn't reach those. So the reason why that is tough is because you have to put this all the way on before you can put the motor on, like that old way of doing it, right? I may still kind of do that where I put this up on the wall first and then bring the motor up, but I would rather not. I'd rather put the motor onto here and then bring this whole thing up at once. So anyway, we'll see which way we take, but let's go for it. Oh my goodness, that was definitely the hardest thing I've done in a while on my own, for sure. Yeah, I mean, definitely should have just held off and waited for some extra help. Definitely got a little sketchy at times. I was never too worried about like my own safety, but there's definitely a couple times where I felt like I might just drop the whole motor and break it. But a couple things that I just did. I drilled an extra hole through the metal there and put that bolt. And then I also did something similar on this side, but I realized, why don't I just drill right here where there's this top plate, and then I can use the same length of screw that I did on the studs, so I can get some extra bite. But yeah, I mean, I wish I could have went a lot higher with this. At the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal because that's going to be right underneath it. And so the space isn't really used anyway. But the higher I could have got it, I feel like the better. But anyway, I will try to finish this up. Might be a different day or not. Definitely the same video, but let's see what I can finish. That was definitely the hardest part, honestly. Getting this over there is obviously easy. It's on wheels, but then I just need to set that all up. Yeah, let's keep going. Hey everyone, so wanted to give you a quick kind of end of the video update. Got a lot done in this kind of part 2 video. A lot of the stuff was done off camera. I'll walk you guys through it. The main reason being is that I was fortunate enough to have my mom come help me do a lot of the organization, and basically she was spurred a little bit by wanting to get the last few remnants of things out of her basement, which was my old interim shop. So gonna go over a lot of the stuff I did off camera, what is still in progress or what needs to be finished, and then we'll kind of wrap it up there. And I'm hoping in part 3 it'll be a lot more kind of action focused and less of like going over what I did, but more of at the time of actually doing it. So let's jump right in. All right, so we'll start over here just because over on the other side a lot has changed, but the main thing that I've worked on since we talked last was getting up all of these lights started. So what I had to do was I had to cut some scrap pieces of plywood to go across. Originally, I thought I was going to be able to do something like I did here, where I could kind of use some of the 2x4s going across that were already up there. This one I went 3 wide mainly because this particular side of the shop I need a ton of lighting for, and then I realized I could do just 2 across everywhere else, and it's already so bright. The only thing I wish is that I got this 10-pack of lights off of Amazon for like $100. It was super cheap, and they are really bright. They're 4,000 lumens. But some of the old shop lights I have from my past shop, which I already started hanging, as soon as I turned them on, I realized, wow, these are way brighter, and it's because they're about 5,200 lumens. So, more than 25% brighter. But at the end of the day, it's so dang bright. Like, it's not even, you can't really tell. But so I am glad nonetheless, though, I put these by the table saw, and then the last few bright ones I'm going to be putting over by the lathe and the bandsaw area. And so you guys have probably, from me kind of waving the camera around, been able to see what has changed, but it's mainly this area. So it's still a little crowded because I have all of this ducting, and there's a ton of like connectors and blast gates and stuff in those boxes. But I was able to fully hook up and finish the dust collection system. At the moment, I just have this single long hose hooked up in case I want to connect it to a tool before I get all the PVC ducting going through the rafters, which will be kind of one of the next big projects. The other thing I did was I bought this workbench. Bought this off of Amazon, and it was incredibly a good deal. It was like 120 or 150 bucks, something like that. And the main thing about it was that it had these wheels, and it has this steel base, and it's basically just way cheaper than I could have built one with wheels, and obviously it was way faster to get it. So that's why I just decided to buy one rather than make one, you know, because I wanted something that my lathe was going to be on that I can pull out to the center of this, you know, big area right here, but then the rest of the time keep it nice and open, you know, if I want to do some sawhorse projects or just have an overall flow. The other thing was my grandpa was getting rid of this fridge. He's a huge hunter, and he said, yeah, I have this mini fridge in my shop that I put some of my deer meat in, and he said, do you want it for your shop? It'd be great. And I said, yeah, I'd love to have a mini fridge. And then I get over to his house, and this is what it is. And this is almost like a full-fledged fridge. It is, you know, a little smaller than a normal one, but it's massive, and it's basically like brand new, and it's just freaking awesome. I mean, even have dedicated freezer space, which is pretty cool. So what I'm excited about this is I can get some magnets, you know, put some stickers on it, kind of make this a cool little place to decorate. Over here, still kind of a mess right now, but I am planning on this being kind of like the pen making space. So, you know, that combined with over there, I need to figure out what I want to do, and you know, if I want to have this lathe permanently here or not. I'm thinking, and let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. This one is brand new. I have never used it. I think I've turned it on once. I think I'm going to give this away and do like a 25K giveaway and have that be the main prize. I don't need it at all. And so I'd kind of like to do that. Let me know what you guys think. These obviously need to find a permanent home. But bandsaw, I like having right here because if I need to cut anything longer, obviously, you know, this won't be here permanently, but it's higher than that bench, so I can still feed stuff through no problem. My drum sander on its mobile base tucked away there. I can always pull it out if I need be. And then this is just kind of a storage rack with a bunch of random stuff on it. And then over here, I haven't really figured out what I want to do with this. Down below is my overarm dust collection system that I still need to set up for my table saw. And basically right about here, go back to the wide angle, is where I finished with the lights. This one was a kind of temporary one I put up. I need to do, you know, 2 properly hung ones there, and then also there at the very end. So that's what's left up there. I also, you know, want to use some staples and stuff and get a lot of these cords kind of out the way. Some of them already fell down, but that's kind of secondary. The other thing I did was I hung up my air filtration unit. That was definitely a challenge, doing that thing on my own. It was something I didn't want to put on camera because there was definitely some swear words involved. But yeah, so one of the things my mom was kind enough to help me with was just putting like a lot of stuff in all these cabinets. You know, I mean, she was basically just filling them up with all of the boxes that I had packed already of everything. So I'm probably still going to rearrange some things, but what's really cool is having like these mica powders now in a drawer. I think my dyes are still going to be, I'm thinking maybe probably over here, because this stuff is, you know, already kind of built in, resin resistant. I'm going to have my casting mats right here, so I don't have to worry about this being plywood. But I'm thinking that my my computer I still need to put in here, so I'm going to rearrange some of that stuff. But then I've got all of my molds and all of these cabinets, and just all of like my casting stuff right in all of these, and it just looks so nice and tidy and clean because I can close them, which is so nice. And then over here, got my little gallon refilling station. Need to start filling those up. And then I also got all of my vacuum chambers out and hooked them up. You know, I don't know if this is going to be the final setup or not, but it's functional, which is the most important. And really nice. I can store, you know, a lot of the kind of ugly looking cactus juice. I shouldn't say ugly, but messy looking stuff that I can kind of put out of the way, which is nice. So yeah, that is it. As I said, still need to put up the lights, still need to kind of tidy up this whole dust collector area situation. But the really, really nice, exciting part is that it is basically functional. The main thing I have to do to get the casting up and going is really just get my die set up and like my mats and stuff like that. A lot of those are actually inside here. When I was moving everything, I put a lot of the dies and things that could leak, you know, onto a truck bed or, you know, a car or anything like that inside of these so that they wouldn't. So I need to get all of that stuff out here and in a castable format. I need to hook up my hose reel, which is on the ground right there, waiting to be hooked up. That will come out of here. And then like I'll have a feeder hose going to it, and then it'll be hung right above us so that I can pull it down, fill these and these up. And then kind of the last thing, and I want to throw this out there for any of you, I want to sell this compound sliding miter saw. It is amazing. It's awesome. Like, I love it when I'm using it, but it's just too big for me. For somebody who doesn't use like a sliding miter saw or just a miter saw in general that much, like I'm not doing a lot of projects that need that. Like 90%, I would say like 70% of my cuts are at the table saw, and then the remaining 30, maybe it's a different ratio, but everything basically is between my bandsaw and my table saw. And I just very rarely use this thing. And so I was thinking, well, you know, I can just like kind of store it somewhere and then pull it out and make cuts outside. But it's just so heavy that it's not that feasible. So I kind of want to sell it and downgrade to something smaller, because that's really all I need. And then I'm thinking around here on this table is probably where I would put it. So I don't know, maybe somewhere else, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. So let me know if anybody is super interested in it. It'd be kind of difficult to ship, so I'm probably going to sell it locally. But if anyone's interested, let me know. It's awesome, but like I said, its main kind of downfall is just that it's big, but that might not be a problem for anybody. So that is it, folks. I'll flip the camera around and we'll call it for this one. Well, everyone, thank you so much for watching. I'm really excited to get this shop up and running. It's been a lot of fun, and even more fun to bring you all along with me. Got a bunch of great feedback and suggestions from folks on the last video, so please comment down below your thoughts, suggestions, anything like that. Definitely taking them to heart. I've already incorporated some of them that other people suggested. And let me know what you guys think. Like the video if you liked it. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new. I can't wait to fully be functional and making a bunch of turning videos again, and it's just gonna be awesome. So anyway, thank you guys so much. I'm really looking forward to making the next video, which will hopefully be soon, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.